It's 7 p.m. on Saturday night, March 23rd, in windy Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is Saturday night with CarEdge, with your host, me, Ray, and, well, the guy repping the Suns again tonight for God knows what reasons. Mr. Zach, how are you today, Mr. Zach?
Happy Saturday night. Doing great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Tonight's show brought to you by us, damn it, CarEdge.com. If we can help you out with anything, buying, selling, protecting, everything in between. And check out Deal School, CarEdge.com/Deal School, 100% free. Now, Dad,
Yes.
the big stories from this week all point in the same direction. Automakers and, quite frankly, dealers are starting to get desperate. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Jeep? Do you want to start with Ford? Or do you want to start with Nissan?
I want to start with the headline under my name.
We're desperate for a new thumbnail. Come on, man. Come
on. Nobody, let me say this, and this pisses my son. Nobody is more desperate right now than CarEdge, coming up with these desperate headlines day after day, week after week, month after month. My goodness gracious. I don't know where you want to start.
We're starting with Nissan, folks. One of the biggest stories from this past week was the fact that Nissan is now paying their dealers, or are offering to pay their dealers, anywhere from $500 to $2,000 to get dealers to take vehicles off of the automaker Nissan's books and put them on to dealers' books. This was the first time we had heard of this, and that happened earlier this week. This comes on the heels of Nissan, who has a massive oversupply, having more than 40% of their sales in the month of February going towards fleet channels. So Nissan news, everyone posit that for a moment. They are paying dealers, which, keep me honest here, Dad, that's not how it typically works. Okay.
They're not, they're
bonusing.
They're asking dealers to take cars, and they will give them more cash back if they do. And so far, many of their dealers have said no.
All right, so you've got Nissan.
If you can't even give your dealers money to take your cars, how are you going to get the public to buy them?
All right, so that's story number one. Let's put that, everyone, just right there. All right, Nissan can't even get their dealers to take their cars from them. Then the other headline in automotive news from this week, it ties back to Ford. Ford owns Lincoln. Lincoln dealers work to sell down glut of 2023 models. Lincoln's inventory is among the highest in the industry because of some late arriving 2023 model year vehicles. There's a great quote in this article. Let me come here. Wait for it, folks. Incentives on Lincolns are up to almost $5,000 per vehicle, which is incredible. And here you go, Dad. This is the quote. Two Lincoln dealers who confirmed the program changes to automotive news said they were designed to artificially inflate numbers, since retailers can report vehicles sold once they're put in the dealer's loaner card program. Quote, and this comes from an anonymous dealer, they're just trying to get you to report them as sold. It's just a way to pad the numbers. It makes your inventory not look as bad as it is. So Nissan story number one,
yes.
Lincoln Ford story number two.
Yes.
Both are eerily similar in a lot of ways, aren't they?
Well, yeah, because both refer to vehicles that, well, in Nissan's case, not only doesn't the public want them, the dealers don't want them. The dealers are turning them down. And in Lincoln's case, not only doesn't the public want them, but the dealers already took them. And so now they're begging the dealers to move them into service loaner fleet so they can at least report them as sold and not new inventory on hand, to make Ford look better, to make it seem as if Ford is actually selling more cars than they actually are. I believe when BMW did that, and the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, caught wind of that, BMW didn't admit any guilt, but they did pay a hefty fine. Hefty. They did pay a hefty fine because what they were doing was considered to be fraudulent. So please, somebody in the legal world explain to me, what's the difference between BMW asking its dealers to put cars in service loaner fleet and report them as sold when they're not, and Lincoln asking their dealers to put vehicles in service loaner fleet to report them as sold when they're not. It seems like the same exact thing to me. And if it was fraudulent in one case, My assumption would be it would be fraudulent as well in the other case. So yeah, there's an air of desperation around those two topics so far.
We got number 3.
Oh
This is
my
going to hit on
gosh.
Jeep as well as Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram as well. Layoffs. Stellantis lays off about 400 salaried employees in the U.S. This comes on the heels of earlier this year, Stellantis laying off a slew of temporary workers. Dad, this also comes on the heels of GM doing the same exact thing at the end of last year, both salaried employees and workers who were on the
Assembly
manufacturing
lines.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time, you and I. 4 years here on YouTube,
Four
we've been
plus.
doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah, 4 plus. I'm going to say it, and I'm Mr. Hyperbolic, but I want to get your take on it. These are the 3 biggest stories in 1 week we've seen that signify buyer's market and dealers and automakers in serious trouble. In 4 years of doing this is the biggest swing I've seen in 1 week of us moving in that direction. Agree or disagree?
I think I disagree. I
Okay.
I think it's I don't think it's as big a deal as you're making it out to be. And here's what I'll say, and here's why I'll say that. Manufacturers have asked dealers to put cars in the service loaner fleet or take extra cars off of the manufacturer's inventory. Well, as long as they've been building cars. Okay, this has been going on forever. When inventories get out of whack at certain brands, can that bode well for customers? Yes. So you would think if you were interested in a Lincoln, now would be a good time that there should be some incentives. Obviously, Lincoln in February was paid out on average $4,665 in incentive money to get customers to buy those cars. So, yes, it's probably a better time now to buy a Lincoln than had it been. Is it inordinately better, or is the situation inordinately worse than it's been through past history? Probably not.
But Dad, the magnitude of these stories, all one after the other this week, I don't think we've seen that yet. This is this is like a tide going out type moment. That's how it feels to me. Like these are 3 huge stories
Yes.
back to back. We didn't even Dad, you want to go there? Let's go there. You want to go there? Tell me, do you want to go there?
Oh, please! Can we go there? Hold my hand and I'll
Honda to
take you
trim,
there. Hold my
Honda to
hand and we're
trim,
halfway there. Please take me there.
Honda to trim U.S. dealer profit margins. Honda also is making some reductions and changes in marketing, advertising, and service payments as it adjusts spending for the EV shift. You even have Honda coming out and saying, hey, dealers, Honda, one of the brands that has the lowest days supply of inventory, so the most pricing strength, coming out and saying, you know what, things are not actually as good as they seem. Dad, this is happening across the board. All automakers, including Toyota to some extent with some of their vehicles, Tundras, for example, have been sitting on dealers' lots for months, and dealers are desperate to get rid of them. There is desperation in the air. The tide is going out.
I
We had the tweets from the owner of a massive dealer group in the South saying that he was at a CDJR dealer group meeting, and there were owners crying. I mean,
yeah,
things are bad, man.
I get it. I get it. Um, yeah, but may I tell you that in the 43 years I was in retail automotive, um, margins were compressed by manufacturers on cars for God knows how long during that 43 years I was in the business. One time, the invoice reflected really what the dealer paid for the car. And then, with the advent of publications and the internet, that type of information became readily available. So dealers begged the manufacturers to figure out another way. So they let me finish. So they compressed the margins. They artificially compressed the margins between MSRP and invoice, and then they created what's known as under the line money. And
Mhm.
what that means is additional sums of money that the dealers would get that fell below the invoice amount that the dealer was charged. That was holdback. That was floor plan assistance. That was advertising assistance. That was gas money. That was PDI money. Um, that was programs based on attaining CSI levels for sales and service, so that when the margins were compressed from 13 or 14% to 10%. Um, yeah, it appeared as if maybe there was only 10% margin or 8% margin, but the other ways that you could get the monies that you were giving up. So, but yeah, it doesn't bode well, and it
You're
doesn't.
not getting my point. You're not getting my point. Maybe I'm not communicating it well. Sure. Are we going back to where the auto market was when you worked in it? Yeah, 100%. But that's not the
No,
point.
no, we're not. That's no. My point is we're not. My
You
my
don't think
point
we
is
are?
is my point is that 40 years ago margins were like 15%. Okay, today in many cases they're 5, 6, 7, 8%.
So it's even
Okay,
worse than it was 4 years ago. Also, I'm just
if
saying the
you're
magnitude of these stories are huge.
if your point is that we're going back or we're headed towards headed in the direction of average front end gross profits being less than they have been on new cars, yes, that's where we're headed. We are definitely headed back to that. Prior to COVID, average front end gross profit for a new car sold was 200 to $300. And then, during COVID, with market adjustments, dealers asking for additional money just because, well, they had a car to sell. They went from $200 to $300 to 2 to 3,000 to 4,000 dollars a car. Well, we're heading back towards the $200 to 300. So yes, in that sense, we're heading back to um, history, where average profits were. Prices are still considerably higher than they had been, but
But that's
yes,
because the MSRPs are inflated.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
So do you agree with me or do you not agree with me? I'm very confused. I asked you initially, is this the
Yes,
biggest turn in events we've seen in the 4 years that you and I have been here on YouTube? And I haven't gotten an answer.
I don't think it is.
What does the chat think? Wait, let's ask everyone that's here with us. Do you think in the 4 years that we've been here with you on YouTube, the 3 stories that we covered to play it back are Nissan providing between $500 and $2,000 per car to dealers to take inventory from them. We then followed that up with Lincoln, who are revising their service loaner fleet agreements and asking their dealer partners to put vehicles into service loaner fleets so that they can report more vehicles as retailed sold. And then the third story was layoffs both at Stellantis, which is Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and General Motors. All 3 of those stories all happened in the past 90 hours, 120 hours. And my claim is that is the biggest swing that we've seen, the tide coming out in the 4 years that we've been here on YouTube. Is that my dad doesn't think that's the biggest sign we've seen yet that the market is heading back towards being a buyer's market
I,
and not a seller's market. I'm curious what everyone else here thinks.
yeah, I mean, I guess I am not placing as much significance on it as you are. Um, I think I still think it that interest rates have impacted the industry more than those 3 separate stories. I think manufacturers being forced to listen to their dealer partners, and more importantly, their ultimate retail customers, who are screaming loud and clear that we want more vehicles that are affordable to us. And what that means to people is they want more vehicles under $30,000. In, so until we see manufacturers make the commitment to that, I just, I
I
just,
am not communicating clearly. Okay, I guess I'll let it die. I'm not communicating clearly because every time I bring this up, you say something that in my mind is unrelated. Let's come here to the chat, Dad. We can try again. We can try again later. Maybe we're just off tonight. Donald, thank you, Donald. Good
Thank
evening,
thank
guys. What are
you.
your thoughts on a 2024 Cadillac Lyric? Get yourself a nice discount off of MSRP, and they are really cool looking. There's one here in DC that I walk by all the time. Really cool looking.
Yeah, it's a nice looking
Cool looking
vehicle.
vehicle.
One of our good community members, Manuel, has bought one, and he loves it. I listen. Truth be told, I don't know enough about any of the current models these days. I don't drive enough to really know. I mean, it looks like an extremely attractive car. Hopefully, it performs well and it does all the things that it's supposed to do. So, and I'm sorry, Zach and I aren't communicating well
You're
with
fine.
each
Why
other.
are you apologize? Okay. All right. What was the point of that?
Because I feel bad.
Thank you, Dad.
That was
The
the
Lyric,
point.
you should be able to get a decent amount off of MSRP
Oh,
on those. We've got some Cadillac dealers, a dealer network, and I know they're below invoice price on the Lyric. So definitely
well,
don't just take an MSRP deal. Yeah.
can I ask you one silly question? Because I had somebody email me today wanted to know. Did Joe sell the Mazda 3 yesterday?
We've got 4 different CarEdge community members that are all interested in buying that Mazda 3 that we talked about over on the Ray and Zach channel yesterday. 4 different
Thank
folks.
thank
So
goodness,
we'll
because if
see.
somebody doesn't buy it, then you know me, I will, and I don't need a car. So
Don't encourage you to do that. Frank, good to see you here. Frank's part of the CarEdge team. Always appreciate seeing you here. Hey, guys, always nice to see you on a Saturday. Zach, sushi was delicious with the web. Glad you got out, Frank. Date night's always
well,
important. Thanks for
yeah.
being a part of the community, Frank, and part of the CarEdge team. Really, really appreciate you, Frank. And then from Miss Callie Canna, looking for you to buy a 2024 Lexus TX in Southern California. MSRP for what I want is around $61,000. What can I reasonably expect as an out the door price? Let me find one while you riff on this, Pops.
Well, I have no idea if you could buy it at $61,000 out the door. That would be doing really well, I believe. Um, what kind of discount could you expect to get on something like that? If you could get a discount, can you get $2,000 or $3,000 off? So let's say you get $3,000 off, and that take you down to 58, and between taxes and fees and everything, it's probably another 10.5 to 11% on top of that. So it's 58 and say 6,500. So about 64.5 would be a guess. I'm guessing if you could get $3,000 off of MSRP, or $2,000 off of $3,000 off of MSRP.
Went to the car search, carge.com/buy. There are 3,358 new Lexus TX for sale nationwide. Actually, that's new and used. Let's see. Are there? Yeah, 3,321. So there are a few used ones out there on the market. Let's look in this market. So she said she was looking at a $61,000
Yes,
one. Let's see. All right,
61,000 MSRP.
here we go. Right here. There you go. There's the target discount. Looks like that's what, 5.5%. So I would say anywhere from 3 to 6% would be a target discount on one of these.
I was pretty
41 days
close.
supply. 41 days supply. So there's not a ton of them. And then I want to look really quickly. Oh, okay. Well, double check with this dealership because they have a 1-star review on the CarEdge website. Here's the out the door price calculator right here. So yeah, sales tax is really what's going to bite you in the state of California on your OTD.
Yeah, but doc fees cheap.
$85 doc fees, beautiful.
Mm,
But
yeah.
yeah, the so even let's play this out. So you're not buying it at MSRP. Let's say you get the discount that we're proposing, which is about $3,000. So you're out the door at about $64,000.
I think that's what I said, 64.5.
There you go, man. Did you know,
Yeah,
Dad, that we have dealer reviews built into the car search?
yeah, that's great. That
Isn't
that
that
would,
nice?
yeah. Hopefully, they could find somebody that actually like doing business with them, and maybe get up to 2.5 stars.
That is a nice feature back there. All right, I'm going to try again, Dad. I'm going to try again.
Okay, okay,
I'll phrase the question differently.
okay.
So we know that dealers are getting nervous. We know that
Yeah.
automakers are getting desperate.
Yes,
Do you think it'll get worse? Simple question. Yes, no. Do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think it's going to get better?
it's going to get worse.
Do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think the
Yes,
market's going to get worse? The desperation is going to get greater. The
yes.
fear is going to get increased. Why is that?
Because of EVs. because of the cost of EVs, because of the there was an article this week that manufacturers are losing on average $6,000 for every EV that they sell. And even though EV sales were 15% of all the vehicles sold in January, it's the amount of increase is less than what had been anticipated. So seems to be a little bit of a slowdown in the movement towards EVs. So as EV inventories build, as the cost of making those EVs continues to be a burden for manufacturers and for dealers sitting on EV inventory, um, I think for that reason that the dealers are going and the manufacturers are going to become even more desperate. So desperate times calls for bigger incentives.
But EVs make up such a small portion of the market. I guess I'm surprised to hear you go straight to EVs. To validate your point, though, here's days supply of inventory broken down by electric vehicles and internal combustion engine vehicles. Electric vehicles are the green line. I guess I'm just kind of surprised because I think it's also going to get worse, but I don't think it has anything to do with electric vehicles.
Well,
Electric vehicles make up
I
such a
think it's
small portion of new vehicle sales.
but it's because EVs are the driver, and why they're the driver is because they're expensive right now, and the manufacturers need those vehicles that they've already produced to move to be sold, and they need their ICE vehicles to continue to move and sell because those are what's underwriting that $6,000 per vehicle loss on every EV. So that's why I say it's because of EVs. That's why I say it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I think it's going to get worse, not because of EVs, though, Dad. It's going to get worse because I was talking to a Nissan dealer in California yesterday, and they were telling me that they had 35 Sentras sitting on their lot, and they have a $100,000 floor plan built at the beginning of each month. Last time I checked, Nissan only has the Aria, and they have affordable cars that people should be buying. That's why it's going to get worse. It doesn't have anything to do with electric vehicles or internal combustion engine vehicles. It has everything to do with people have stopped buying cars like they were before, and manufacturers are oversupplying their dealers. That has, like, to me, I don't know. I just agree. We agree that it's going to get worse. Why we think it's going to get worse, I think we disagree on.
We might disagree on why we think it's going to get worse. It sounds like we disagree on why it's going to get worse. And it's EVs, it's interest rates, it's affordability. I mean, how many things do you want to roll up into it that all? I mean, the biggest driver, I guess, in reality, is affordability. We've talked about it. 83% of the population doesn't feel as if they can afford to buy a new car, whether it be a internal combustion engine vehicle, a hybrid, or a battery electric vehicle. They don't feel like they can buy one because they're too damn expensive. Now, you just talked about a Nissan dealer that has a poop ton of Sentras. Okay, Sentras are relatively inexpensive compared to the overall new car market, but they can't sell them. Why? Okay, so now you have to really start digging in and trying to figure out why. Is it a reputational problem? Is it a service issue? I mean, we've known for years now that people have been complaining about the transmissions, the CVT transmissions in Nissans. Are all those issues coming back to haunt a car company that has cars in the most desirous price ranges, and yet they can't sell them? So is that the public saying, yes, we want affordable cars, but we want quality affordable cars, and they don't perceive Nissan at this point as that quality affordable car? That I don't know. I mean, but that dancing with your neck.
I don't think it's about Nissan, Dad. I think Nissan's just one example. Here came from a community member, AB. Here's a Hyundai dealer, Dad. Overflow lot. Hyundai Genesis dealer overflow lot. Just
Yeah.
cars everywhere.
Yeah.
Cars everywhere. My email inbox, Zach, ZACH at CarEdge.com, is full of community members sending me stuff that looks exactly like that. Whether it's Nissan, whether it's Hyundai, whether
So,
it's Kia, whether it's
so what is
Ford,
it?
whether it's Dodge. What is
It,
it?
does it fall into that giant category of affordability? Is that
Yeah,
what it
definitely.
is?
I think it's two things. I think it's affordability, and I think even before affordability, it's greed. The automakers don't care if their dealer partners say no. They don't care if their dealer partners say we don't want to take more cars, because they'll find ways to get those cars off their books. They're doing it right now with the service loaner programs. Just put them into service loaner. Just put them into service loaner. The automakers are greedy, and they're just and they want to make money, and they have to show that they have sales growth, and they don't care that they have jacked up the prices and the MSRPs of their vehicles, and they're shoving them down the throats of their dealers, and they're shoving them down the throats of consumers. And eventually we will see more and more automakers do what we're seeing Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram finally starting to do, which is, for example, over at Ram, there are national 15 to 20% off programs. Here's an email that was I think out of the state of Iowa, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Iowa's best Ram offers. Tax, title, and fees not included. Qualifying customers only. But look at this, Dad.
Wow.
MSRP $61,160. The sale price $46,989 on a Ram 3500. 20 grand off. You didn't even have to show up to get 20 grand off on a Ram 2500. I mean, look at these numbers. And this is, to be clear, a mixture of both dealer discount and the automaker realizing, oh crap, we got to put 15 to 20% off across the board. So you asked me the question, what do I think is the driver of this? Is it affordability? Yeah. And it's greed. It's 100% greed. The automakers are the greedy ones, in my opinion. The dealers obviously are incredibly, many of them, greedy as well.
Yeah.
But the automakers are the ones that are really just saying, screw it. Just pump the metal out and see what happens. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because when they could have been and should have been building more lower priced vehicles, they chose not to. And they you can't say that you're an affordable vehicle if your average transaction price, say on Dodge pickup trucks or Ram pickup trucks, excuse me, is over $65,000. That doesn't qualify as affordable in anybody's book. That I used to say to salespeople, everything boils down to budget for people. Everybody has a budget. And one of the things as a salesperson that you need to understand is what your customer's budget is.
Mm-hmm.
And when we say budget, in most cases, for 90% of the people, it was a monthly payment budget. And one of the things I used to train my salespeople, when customers said, "Well, don't worry about the payment; it doesn't matter. Just what's the best deal?" And so I trained my salespeople to say, "Well, what I found in my experience is everybody's got a budget. I mean, everybody has a certain amount that they're willing or that they feel they can afford to spend for things. Hell, even Bill Gates and Warren Buffett have budgets. The difference is theirs are just bigger than yours and mine. But they have one. They don't walk into a dealership expecting or looking to buy a car and not have some type of budgetary number in mind. So I don't think the average person buying a Ram pickup truck or a Ford pickup truck walks into a dealership and thinks that they've budgeted or they're about to spend $65,000 to $68,000 for that pickup. I think they walk in and they're thinking they're going to spend somewhere between $45,000 and $50,000, and they need to be resuscitated. When you break it to them gently, that it's going to be somewhere between 65 and 70.
And my point about greed comes from, and we've done this research, back on CarEdge.com under resources, go to guides, free guides. Hyundai prices have increased 46% in the past 5 years. Their sales have actually gone up 20% in the same period of time, and their market share has gone up. These types of guides, this research that we do back on the CarEdge website, this is the type of stuff that helps demonstrate the greed of
Yes.
automakers. We also have the Jeep one that shows Jeep prices going up 61% during the same period of time. But you can see here, the Hyundai average transaction price in 2018 was less than $25,000, and now it's more than $36,584. What were those photos I was just showing before? They were brand new Hyundais
Yes.
and Genesis sitting, not selling, and it's because of exactly what you're talking about, the affordability piece. And then Pops, people do go try and buy.
And before if I may, if it used to be that the average transaction price for those Hyundais was $25,000, I don't know how to break it to your Hyundai dealers, but those are still the same customers today that are coming in, and that $11,000 swing, that's harder on them than it is for many, like a Toyota customer or a Honda customer or some of the other Asian brands that were more expensive to begin with and had been. So that type of increase in MSRP, it's going to cause a situation where Hyundai is going to have some dealers that are sitting on a poop ton of vehicles because they've priced them so that their normal customer base can no longer afford to buy them.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. And then we still see antics, Dad. I'm going to go to the chat here in just a moment. Before we do, then you still see antics.
Yes.
This is for a Nissan. This is a gently used 2023 Nissan Titan. I posted this at Chefska over on Twitter. 2,600 miles on it, Dad. And just, look at this. This is the type of crap that some customers still run into.
Yes.
I should remind everyone, CarEdge.com, this is what we help you avoid, crap like this. But this is what one of our coach customers, it's one of our customers that came to CarEdge and works with one of our team members for help buying a car. This is what one of our coach customers sent to us. Selling price, $47,689. That was the advertised price on the dealer website. That's great.
Yeah. So stop there for 1 second. So the advertised price on the dealer's website was a lie.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because the customer then asked for the out the door price, and this is what they got.
You can't buy it for $47,689. They won't sell it to you for $47,689, but they advertised it to you at $47,689 to get you to come into the dealership. So it's fraud. But go ahead.
In our opinion,
in my opinion,
$47,689 selling price.
Yes.
And again, this is to demonstrate what some people are still running into. So whether they're, maybe they're priced out, but they're still trying to fit into buying a vehicle, and then they go, and this is what they see: $1,099 certification fee on that used car, $2,499 for Moss Care.
Yeah,
Moss Care, and then you've got $250 in savings.
Why
Moss
do that?
Madness.
If I was a customer, okay, the fact that you would take $250 off after you've added all that crap, nothing would get me out of my chair faster than that. It's like, okay, you don't think it insults my intelligence to add $1,099 certification fee, a $2,499 Moss Care, whatever kind of care, stick it up your butt care. But so you don't think that insults my intelligence, okay? But I gotta tell you, the $250 generous discount, that would insult my intelligence. That would be enough for me to look at that and just in the nicest way possible, to suggest to the salesperson that he goes forth and multiplies all on his own, and then I would leave. Okay, This is
We didn't
no
even
way.
get to the no dealer financing for $1,000, the no eligible trade for $1,000, which ultimately takes you to your selling price of
Uh,
$53,037. You then need to add your dealer fees, which add on another $1,500. Then there's tax, which was capped at $500. Registration is somehow an additional $500, and
so
ultimately your $47,689 price is a
the advertised,
55,538.
yeah, the advertised price is suddenly, if you have no trade and you're not financing through them, that means that the real selling price is $53,037. However, you advertise it on your website almost $6,000 less than that in order to get me or some other customer in. I know, I know that I have to add, in my opinion, that sounds like fraudulent advertising. Okay. In fact, it is fraudulent advertising because, it, well, I shouldn't say that because I don't know what the small print said. You know,
Yep.
that nobody probably has a magnifying glass that can magnify it enough so that you can read it. But maybe the small print says, well, that includes $1,000 trade. There'll be $1,000 more if there's no trade. $1,000
Dad,
more if you're not financing
Dad,
it.
I was on a dealer website the other day, and I clicked on next to the price. It
Yeah,
had 152, and I was like, "What is 152?" I clicked on it. It
yeah,
opened up a modal on the screen. There were 163 separate disclosures on that page. I'll find it. I'm gonna find it actually, and I'll show it to you. 163 disclosures
yeah,
on the page
yeah.
about the vehicle. That's that. So to your
Yeah,
point, reading the small print,
wouldn't a great disclosure be you put like a giant ass asterisk next to it, okay, and then in giant ass 15-point bold print you put that's really the price you can buy the damn thing for. There you have it, folks. Don't know how to break it to you or any other car dealers out there, but that advertised price is the absolute price that you really can buy it for.
so it makes you wonder as we head back to tie it back to what we started with, which is the desperation that the industry is starting to feel and see. We're going to see more advertisements like this one from this
Yeah,
dealer,
but you don't know
this
that they're
Ram dealer.
real. You know,
Exactly, and this is why. Yep.
yes. I mean, you just showed from Mouse, or however you pronounce the company, um, you just showed the BS that they do. What's to say that when you get to this dealer, that they're not doing similar stuff? You know, and the only way that you can prove to a customer that you're not is to, I don't know, show it that that's the actual honest to goodness price that you can buy it for. Not it includes some incentives that not everybody's going to qualify for. Put the put the damn price that you can buy it for. It's I'll say it. Can I say it one last time? It's not that hard. Jeez, it's not that just well, okay. Apparently, it is hard because 90% of the dealers out there can't do it. Okay, and I don't know if they can't. As somebody I knew many years ago used to say, "Can't means won't." Okay, it's not that they can't do it; it's that they won't do it. Okay, and why won't they do it? Well, because this is the way they've been doing business forever, and they assume this is like the only way you can do business. Somebody maybe CarEdge can come along and prove to these people that there are better ways to treat your customers, that there are better ways to treat your employees. If you have a salesperson that has to deal with the employee and right after hello has to start explaining, you know, that price that you came in on, you can't buy the damn thing for that price. The reason is we got the customer doesn't want to hear that. Your salesperson doesn't want to have to be doing that. I mean, my God, it's a hard enough job as it is. I mean, people don't trust a salesperson. People don't trust a dealer. So why do you want to do that to your staff? Why do you want to force your staff to have to justify all the crap that you want to do as a dealer? just straighten up and fly right. Damn it! Just as the owner, straighten up and fly right, and just say, "I'm going to do it the right way," and I'm going to prove to the damn world that I can be successful doing it the right way.
Jumping back to the chat here.
Really? Thank you.
Jumping back to the chat. Here we go. We've got from R. Dillon. If manufacturers wanted to write things, they would do away with the finance office. Such an interesting comment here. That's obviously,
It has
for
nothing
those
to
of you
do with
that
the
don't know,
manufacturer.
it has nothing to do with the manufacturer. You don't think?
It has nothing to do with the manufacturer. It's got everything to do with the dealership. You don't have to have a finance office. There are dealerships out there that it's one person to the customer. The salesperson handles test driving the car. The salesperson handles the price of the car. The salesperson submits your credit application to get you approved, and that salesperson prints up your finance and all the deal documents. The finance department was a creation of dealers, where someone came along, JM&A, Zurich Insurance, whoever the others are, and said, "We've got a way for you that we found another revenue channel for you." And hence the finance departments were born. It's not the manufacturer. Manufacturer has nothing to do with that. That's the dealer.
Okay, that's a good point. Fair point.
Yeah.
We've got here from GoGo. The government mandated OEMs to build EVs we don't want. We actually did have a big walk back. That was another huge story from this week. The EPA guidelines or rules, or not even guidelines, the rules around tailpipe emissions had been revised to actually extend out the timeline for for transitioning to electric vehicles. So yeah, I mean there's a huge government influence here as well from the federal level. From Sal, Zach, your thoughts on a 2022 Audi A5 at $41,000 out the door with only 10,000 miles, but 8.59% APR in Central California. Let's do it.
93907 is the zipper code.
Give me 1 second here.
93907. 22 Audi A5.
Sal, if you have the zip code, or excuse me, the VIN, that'd be super helpful. But let's help Sal out and let's show everyone the way that we help our community members back at CarEdge, CarEdge.com. What was that zip code, Dad?
93907.
All right, and we're searching for a, what was it, a 2022
it's 2022 Audi A5.
It's an A5.
Yes.
And we said...
Nice to know what the equipment level is on the A5.
And
premium, prestige,
Yeah, well, we'll see if we can find one. And let me get rid of... Oops, and I got to choose... Sportback?
Well, he didn't say Sportback. He said an Audi A5.
Yeah, but I'm surprised I'm getting zero results for Audi A5. What am I doing wrong? Audi A5 2020. Oh, new.
Oh, that could.
But I still got nothing. What am I doing wrong?
I don't know, buddy.
Okay, so I've got 42 cabriolets. I've got 16 coupes. I've got 129, and I got 129 sportbacks. Jeez Louise. All right, so we've got $41,000 out the door, 10,000 miles. Let's see if we can find this one really quick. 10,000-ish miles. Let's look at this one. Oh my gosh, 460 days on the market. Let me find one here.
Premium Plus.
It's a Premium Plus?
Well, that one was that you were just looking at. I don't know. Zach, the VIN is, here's the VIN. I can give you the VIN.
Give me 1 second. Perfect. Here we go. All right. Bear with me, folks. Yeah, let's just plug the VIN in. I'm all ears, Dad.
It's a WAUFAC-FA6NA021090.
Thank you, sir. Hey, it was that one.
Look at you.
That's pretty cool. We actually got it on exactly the right one. All right, so here we go. Let's look at this, Dad. They've had this thing for 460 days.
That's a long time.
Let's look at the price history.
That'd be a little more than a year.
Okay, so brand new back in 2022. Okay, here we go. They originally listed it as a used car on February 14th of 2023.
A year
at
ago.
50 grand.
Yeah.
Now let me come back up here. So we're down from 50 grand there.
To 39.
Wow. And just the other day, they were down to 37.5.
Okay. Which is why we suggested $37,000.
$37,000 on the money.
Yeah.
So Sal, what's our thoughts on this? Get them down to $37,000 at least.
Yeah, well, plus fees. So he was talking 41,000 out the door.
Yeah, it's probably pretty fair. Let's look down at the OTD calculator. Yeah. Because we're at 43 at their advertised price. Take $2,000 off. Yeah, Sal, jump on it, man. Get a pre-purchase inspection.
For sure.
Get a pre-purchase inspection.
Yeah.
Definitely get a pre-purchase inspection. You know, one thing I was just going to take a peek at. I'll pull it up on the screen for you, Pops.
You're gonna sell it to?
No, I'm looking at the warranty price because these things are expensive to own, man.
Yeah, well, it is an Audi.
Yeah, 84 month, 150,000 miles. Oh my gosh.
Lord.
Be careful with that thing, Sal.
Yeah.
Glad we could help Sal out. All right, Trade Bear. Thank you, Trade Bear. Didn't these same dealers have no problem absolutely treating their customers like poop just a few years ago? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely they did. And they still do. And it wasn't right a couple of years ago, and it's even less right today. You know, we've been trying to level the playing field for customers with dealerships for 4.5 years. I mean, it's the whole concept of the business.
Yeah, there were some good dealers 4 years ago, and there's some good dealers still today. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, the automakers also indulged in it too, right? They sent memos saying, "Hey, stop marking our cars up." That's all they ever did.
Yeah, well, it's because they couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
they knew it. That was just corporate BS.
John Wick's book.
Ooh, what a great series, by the way, John Wick. I love John Wick.
I was able to get a 2020 Ford Mustang EcoBoost for with 18,000 miles listed at $25,000. Got it out the door for $26,800. I don't need to buy a car for a while, but thank you for saving me a lot of money. That's awesome. Just asking for the out the door price is like the first step towards negotiating a good deal.
Do you think it scared the dealer? He scared the dealer into it when he whipped out some of his pistols and stuff, and because that John Wick is, he's holds up his Teflon invincible suit jacket, whatever Kevlar. Yes. Teflon wouldn't do it. But Kevlar, get the hell out of here. But I love that series.
Juan wants to know, or Julian, excuse me, wants to know, do you guys actually negotiate on behalf of customers? Honestly, it would be a huge business. Nobody wants to deal with the dealerships and their nonsense. 100% we do. CarEdge.com. Tell us what car you're interested in. Answer a few questions back on that initial form, and our team will reach out to you to see if we can help. Yeah, 100%. That is the business, Julian. At least part of the business. We also coach people to navigate it. So yeah, please go check that out. That is a service back at CarEdge.com. R. Dylan, thank you. Bye, Dad. Buy some beer, Dad. You seem agitated. I agree. Pops is agitated tonight. I don't know what got into him.
I don't drink beer. I hardly drink. You know what got into me? Leftover pizza. I had some leftover pizza, and I was watching a movie on the sofa, before the show, and I realized, like, an hour into the movie, I had been watching it with my eyes closed. So, maybe I'm just not as, that don't eat. So the moral to this story is never eat leftover pizza before you do a live show.
Moral of the story, kids. Listen up. Shannon, thank you for being here. Another fun and interesting Saturday evening. We appreciate you. Always feel very, very, very thankful that you're here. We have here, Dad, from Christian Grace.
Yes.
Could you go over the used Tesla market? What are your thoughts? Yeah, let me pull up some data on that I look at. But the used Tesla market can be summed up in let me think, how many words? 2 words.
It
Got a
stinks.
guess? That's a good one. All right, let's get some guesses in the chat. 2 words to sum up the used Tesla market. Pop says it stinks. I have something different than it
Boat
stinks.
anchor.
Yeah, boat anchor. Yep, boat anchor. That was exactly what I was going to say. Boat
Yeah.
anchor. Let's do a quick experiment for a used Tesla. Yeah, dumpster fire,
Yeah.
dirt cheap.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're
Dive
in the
bomb.
market for a used Tesla, there has probably never been a better time to buy one.
100% right.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick let me clear my filters really quick and let's do a Tesla. What do you want to do? Model Y, Model 3,
Sure,
Model Y?
Model Y or a Model 3, either or.
All right, so there are 3,124 Tesla Model Ys for sale nationwide right now. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to search days on market. I want it to be over 300, which
Oh
is
my.
so there's only 32. There aren't a lot that have been sitting around for that long, but the
That's
reason I want to
9
look at
months. That's 10
I know.
months. 10
It's a lot
months.
of
Come
time to
on.
be
That's a
paying
long
interest.
time.
It's a lot of time to be paying interest. But the reason I wanted
Yeah.
to do that is so that we could see the price history on these things. So we'll do the first one here. 2022 Tesla Model Y base, 317 days that they've been holding on to this.
Yeah, they're on the drug use is rampant there when it came to pricing. And my goodness gracious. What's a brand new one?
You can get a brand new one, I think, for less than $48,000.
Okay. For a base? I mean, what the hell?
So there's a $6,000 price drop on this one over the course of 9 months. Let's look at one more real quick.
Yeah, but it probably took a $6,000 price dump in one day when Tesla came out and lowered their prices one time.
All right, let's see. This one, honestly, they have not lowered their price at all.
Well, you know,
$42,999. They're only down to $38,899 or $89. But yeah, Tesla, like depreciation on Teslas has been significant over the past year or so, which means
yes.
used Tesla prices on the retail side are also down significantly. Although the examples we just looked at there were not as egregious as they thought they would be. But you know,
Yeah, but there are also ones that have been sitting at a dealer's lot for almost a year. That's not a dealer that really is marketing the vehicle and trying to get rid of it.
That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point.
You know what? Here's a way to find what's Hertz trying to sell them for. Okay, they invested a lot of money in them, and I don't know, their CEO just got booted because of it. Because they have to get rid of them at fire sale prices. So you tell me.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted a Tesla, if you wanted a pre-owned one, you should be able to buy it pretty darn cheap. If you can't get it cheap as a used car, don't even consider it.
Yeah. Go buy a new one instead. Go buy a new one because the prices of the new ones are so cheap relative. Yeah.
Yes.
We've got here from Kesha. Thank you, Kesha. Interested in a Jeep 4xe high altitude, $7,500 dealer federal incentive is available. MSRP $73,000. Should I take the leap or wait, buy early? So, Kesha, first thing I'm going to say, this is very self-serving, but please, please, please consider buying through CarEdge. We've got some Jeep dealers in the network. We have huge, huge, huge discounts negotiated with them. The discount on this should be at least 15%, at least. So please, if you are going to reach out to them, whether you're going to lease it or buy it, doesn't really matter. Get an out the door price or go to deal school. Like, just really dig in on this one, or let us do the work for you. But like, you should get a huge discount. You should be getting at least $10,000 off, in addition to
the $7,500.
So you should be looking at $17,000 off
at least.
This thing. Okay, $17,000 off. If you're not getting that, come call us or email me or something. Please don't get baited into, well, you got the $7,500 federal. No, like significantly more savings on a car like that. From Dennis Pops.
Thank you, Dennis.
Looking at a Hyundai Sonata or a Honda Accord hybrid. Both seem like they cost around $38,000. Man, they got so expensive. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. Which one? And is this a fair deal? Both of those you should be able to get, at least the Hyundai, I know you should be able to get significantly below MSRP at invoice price, even on the Hyundais. We have that in our dealer network. The Accord Hybrid, that one's going to be a bit trickier, probably closer to MSRP. I think that's the read on these pups.
Honestly, I don't know about the Accord. I do know because of our dealer network that you should definitely be saving money on the Hyundai.
Yeah, we're about to sign up. We're close. Hopefully this coming week we'll have our first Honda dealer in the network, so I'll have a really good idea of what our pre-negotiated pricing is there. But definitely the Hyundai is more negotiable than the Honda, that's for sure. We've got here from Curtis. Hi, I was looking at some of the
Curtis.
2021 F-150 King Ranches on the site and noticed some XLTs are shown. Is this common for there to be a mislisting? Yeah, definitely. The dealer inventory on dealer websites, on Auto Trader, on our website, the amount of stuff that gets fat fingered is just through the roof. So we get complaints all the time. The whole industry deals with this, and I don't know a great solution to it. It's a shame that the data entry is so terrible. There's no clearinghouse for data in the auto industry. Like none of the automakers share information with each other. It's really it's a pain in the butt for sure.
Yeah, which is what you're finding out. I tried to keep you out of the car business, damn it. I tried.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We've got here from Justin, dealers are going to pay dearly in 2024 for the greed over the last several years. Again, I think that's where we started tonight. That's what we're just starting to, I'm not saying to say just starting to see. I think it's picking up speed. We just started to see this like 6 months ago, and now that momentum is there.
Oh, you need to do something for me tonight.
What's that, Ted?
Well, we need to promote my appearance on Bid Nerds tomorrow night. And I sent you some thumbnails that they had sent me, and because I don't know how to, they said, "Oh, here's some thumbnails for social." Well, so I don't know how to do any of that stuff. But Bid Nerds, they track cars that are sold on Bring a Trailer and sites like that, and they go live every Wednesday and Sunday nights at 9:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, and I tomorrow will be the third nerd. And if I've ever wanted to be a third nerd, it's now. Now is the time. So look for me on Bid Nerds tomorrow night. If you haven't found that channel, please do. It's fun. And I can tell you right now that the cars that they look at that are on Bring, I don't know the first, it's sad because I'm not really a car guy. I mean, I sold cars for 43 years, but cars don't really excite me to any great degree. Where I would go out of my way to really want to learn everything there is to learn about them. And I gotta have one of those. I'm more of a sucker for watches than I am for cars. So maybe we need to do Bid Nerds watches. I don't know. But were you able to find any of those thumbnails?
I don't have them handy, Pops. I'm sorry. I didn't really prep for that. But
well, here, I'm going to send them to you. I can't believe you would do that to me, that you didn't have them. Or maybe I'm not going to send them to you because I don't know where they are. But I mean, they sent me some really good ones, and I know I sent them to you. I sent them to you, Justice, and James saying, help me with these. I don't know how to post these. I don't know what I'm doing. And so people say, "Oh, well, raise the Kofi." I'm the nothing, okay? I ask for help, I don't get it. People serving. Well, how much input do you have in decisions? None. I got none. Okay, I can't even. I got nothing. Nothing. Gosh, Bid Nerds. I'll see if I can find them. God, they're here.
All right, folks. Let's call it a show. We'll be back on Monday.
Wait. How do I present? Well, first of all, I don't even know how to pull. Oh my God! If you could see my screen, so I go to present, and then I go to share screen. Is that what I do? And then I go to entire screen, and now I'm screwed. And then I go, can you see this? Were you able to?
Asking?
Huh?
Are you asking if we see something
Can you
on
see
your screen?
something?
No.
Oh my God. Well, how do I? It was there. Wasn't it
I
there?
didn't see anything. Did anyone else see anything? I didn't see
Okay, wait a
anything.
second. Okay. Um, son of a gun. What am I gonna do? Hit share, share, share. What do you see now?
I still just see you.
Do you see this?
What do you mean, what do we see?
I don't know how to show it. That's a great look. They pulled my picture right off of Instagram from when we were in Montreal.
Go back to StreamYard, Dad.
Yeah,
Oh, that's your screen. All right, so then go back to your email.
yeah.
All right, everyone can see it right now.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know where that picture's from? When I was standing next to that metallic green Mercedes Benz in Montreal. There you have it,
There you
ladies and
go.
gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Whew, man, apologize for that.
That's all good.
I got news for you. John and the team at Bid Nerds got more out of that than they ever had intended.
Folks, we'll be back on Monday over on the Ray and Zach channel. Have a great night. Dad, congratulations on sharing your screen.
Well, thank you. You have a great night too, handsome. I do love you. Thank you for putting up with me today, and stay away from reheated pizza. Just don't do it.